Alright, so I'm filming this really quick, long before I do the full DCCD install. I think this is probably going to be my only complaint about this kit, but I need to preface with I did not go with the SI drive module and the adapter for it. I was kind of overspending a bunch of money on the project, so I thought I'd save the $200 and use their standard button controls or whatever. So I took the tray, and it's not pretty, but it'll get the job done. Put the knob in the middle, button on the right, and the LED on the top. But my big complaint with this is they sent this piece, the button, all as one single complete unit with the nut on it. So I didn't feel comfortable trying to pull the clip out. I felt if I was going to do it, I would probably break it. And I had no other way of sandwiching it, so I just took a razor and sliced it. I'm hoping to kind of hide it the best I can. But the thing I really think they should do for this is send this unpinned here. Give you a picture to which way the colors go in, because they're already doing that with another part of the kit for the transmission plug. See, it's not in a plug here, and they supply you with, I've got it somewhere in here. They supply you with a plug, yeah, so that you can pin it yourself. I know most people don't go this route, but for those few of us that do, that would be probably a logical way of doing that, just so we can get a little bit of a cleaner look. Okay, so I pulled this portion out before starting the video, so I could make, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, this guy. So I'll show how to put this back in. It's really not hard to take out. You just pop up your shift boot. There's a couple screws that'll be in a metal piece like that. I'm pretty sure this is not the stock one. I've got to put this back in. Hopefully I'm lining up this camera well. It's kind of just sitting on my face here. So I'm going to pull out, where the hell did my little doodad go? I got to pull out a screw here and pop this part of the trim out. I need to put this piece, it wasn't available when they did my STI swap. So I'm going to pull this piece out to line this up, get this bolted down where it should be. Then we'll start putting in the DCCD controller, and I'll root up the wiring and all that. And then I'm just apparently gonna, there it is. So we'll just get this out real quick. I believe there's one screw. There might be another back here. If there is, the shop didn't put it back. It almost feels like there's a spot for a screw, but I can't 100% tell. And this will pop out just like that. I was hoping more would come out, but we'll see. I want to undo this. I'm going to fight with this for right now. You guys won't have to do this. If you're doing a DCCD swap, you should already have this in there. So I'm going to cut it for now, get this worked out. Then we'll start with the actual swap. Or not swap, but install. Okay, so I don't know how I'm going to do this video exactly yet. I was going to try and do every tiny little step of the way, but wait, it's working out in the car here with the camera strapped to my head and trying to see and all that. It might not work out. So I'm going to just go with my game plan here and explain what I'm thinking of doing, and then I'll update the video in spots along the way. I did pull off the side piece here pops out. I needed to get access, at least some more access around here, so I can route my wires. I'm going to try and tuck them up around here. We got to go out through the grommet to the ECU and the transmission out there. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to mount the box yet. I know on the VA they were able to tuck it around under here, but with the VB you can't. I know the shop that did my install had done one, and they had it mounted here. I don't know exactly how they fit it in here. I don't think that swap had this piece. Not 100% sure, but it's not going to fit proper how they had it. So what I'm actually thinking of doing is cutting a hole right here. If I can get it on camera here. Right here on the, it's kind of the back side. Hopefully I'm not rubbing this mic with my fat shoulder. Into the cubby back here. I don't use this cubby, so I'm thinking to just cut a slot so I can slide all my wires and the G module through, and then just have this chill down here. I'm hoping I've got enough wire. I think I do. This has to, the blue and this bundle have to go into the engine, but I think I'll have plenty of room between this and the box itself. And yes, my car is still a mess. I'm not going to clean it until I get all this stuff done. So I'm going to work on mounting or finding a point for the box. Again, I think I'm going to go through here, and then I'll work on the wiring path. I might just come back through and show you how I did it versus trying to do it with the camera set up here. Again, this thing is, I've only got it on a kind of a hat mount, so it's kind of bouncing off my forehead here and smacking me in the face. So I think for the sense of my sanity, I'll probably just do it and update the video along the way instead of doing it in real time. That, and I gotta lay on the floor, and that's gonna suck with the camera on my face. So I'm just gonna get to it, and my ranting is over. Okay, so one issue you might come into, depending on how the swap's done, and we'll get the cable out of the way. Depending on which sensor they use on the WRX side or whatever, the Iwire plug-and-play kit might not plug and play directly. Let's see. As you can see, we ended up with two female connectors here. Sorry, I'm using my action camera for the most of this, so it's going to be not the greatest. So basically what you're going to have to do, if this is the case, is snip the wire. And if you have a male connector to put on one side, great. If not, you're going to have to cut them both and just hardwire them together. I'm going to do that right now. And then after that, I'll go through and explain all the process I've done. And this has been the biggest hiccup, just because I couldn't get a hold of the guy who did the swap at first. And I spoke with Brian over at Iwire. He helped me as best as he could. And then finally, Jay over at OptAuto got back to me, and we worked it out. So I will get to the rest in a minute. Okay, I completely forgot to film this. I got a little overwhelmed dealing with that wiring crap. Totally forgot to film. It's going to be this plug up top. Right here with the white, black, and red wire. That's the plug that's going to come unpinned. They'll have the connector and the wedge inside the box for you. You're just going to line up the plugs, the wires, with the ones that on the STI transmission for the DCCD. Again, if the clip is facing up, for me, it was white, black, red. If it's facing down, it'll be opposite. Just make sure, because I had to pull the intercooler off again to get down here because I had no power when I was trying to power the thing up. Push these pins. Make sure you're all the way seated before you put that orange wedge in there. Because I guess I wasn't all the way seated, so when I plugged it in, zip tied it down, it depinned, and I didn't even realize it. Put everything back together, tried to put it to start it to see if I hooked it up right, and I had 0 power. So don't do that. Make sure it's pinned. I'll probably sample Street Inspired's video to show you exactly what it was. He has a really good install on this for the VA. Almost the same exact process, other than depending on however the people did the swap for your car, your transmission, as you saw in the earlier video with the wire. But now I'm going to finish routing the inside, clean it up, and show you exactly how I routed it after I put the intercooler back on for the 3rd time today. Another quick bit that I don't think I touched on is the blue wire that you need to tap in to the throttle. Here is on the top ECU plug. You'll take it out. I'll show the diagram. It is, I believe, pin 37. If I'm incorrect, I'll fix that. I just did the T connector that they supplied. It works. I tested it. It's a blue wire. It's, if you're looking at the plug, bottom row, second to the last plug on the right. But again, I'll pop up the diagram. Okay, it has been a long day. This turned out to be quite a pain in the ass, but no fault to Iwire. In fact, Brian went above and beyond to try and help me today over the phone as best he could. Like I said in the other video, the WRX sensors were used, so I had to go about figuring out how to bridge that gap there. Brian was unsure about the exact wiring. I did finally get a hold of Jay over at Opt Auto, and he confirmed that the 2 wires that I spliced together, they don't need polarity or anything, they just need to be spliced together, and it's good to go. So that's, I had a hiccup there trying to figure that out, and then the 1 wire depinning itself when I zip tied it. So now I'm to the point where this is what I got. It's kind of a mess, but I've taken out quite a bit of slack in the wires and just zip tied them along the way. So what I did end up putting it in the cubby back here. I'm gonna secure it, and then ran the wires through here. All the wires are quite simple to, you can't plug any into any wrong ones. They all have their own home. So what you need to do, they supply you, again, I didn't do the step-by-step because today went crazy. So they supply you with the G module and a bracket. You want to put that, at least this is where I placed it, on the back bracket for the e-brake. You want this arrow facing to the front of the car. I did the ground wire. I took some sandpaper and I disconnected the e-brake, moved this, sanded down, come on phone, sanded down under here to get to the bare metal, and I put the ground wire underneath that, so it's sandwiched between metal and metal. Then we have everything. This is the main wire that plugs into the wires that go out under the hood. There's also this wire here. Also, my stupid fat finger hit stop record, so I got to record a bunch more again. This wire here comes off the e-brake right here, and you put it in the brown jumper wire. There's a portion here, you plug into the brown wire, then you jump that to right here. Then the blue wire and 3-pin wire I routed through here, kind of behind the dash, came out under the dash. I'll try to get image. I don't know if I can. down here. There's a rubber grommet up there. I don't know if I can show you. I'm not crawling down there again. I've been down there way too long. There's a rubber grommet down there. If you've seen my JB4 video, that's the same grommet we used to fish that wire through. What I did was I took a very long screwdriver, stuck it through the engine bay side, and I then taped the two wires, or whatever, the triple pin wire and the blue wire, to the screwdriver, pulled it out. Blue wire goes right behind kind of where you pull it out from on the ECU where I showed earlier, and then I ran the triple pin wire under the intercooler over to the STI plugs. So I didn't record that. I completely forgot. It was a pain in the ass day. So again, I'll link a street inspired video at the timestamp where he does it. Very similar install. So you just need to push those pins, match the wires to the STI side, push them in very firmly, then make sure you push that wedge in. Apparently mine weren't firm enough, so when I zip tied it, they depinned, and I did not notice until after I put the intercooler on and got in here to test everything out. I've since put it back together, came in here, plugged it in to test it, and it turned on this time. So this is how, again, it's a mess down here, but my center console is going to cover it, so I don't care. So I'm going to put all this crap back on. I was going to show a breakdown of how to take it off, but it's ridiculously simple. All you do, again, you'll pull the shift boot. It just unclips by itself. Pull that out. There'll be a couple screws here you'll do. There's one screw on this piece here you'll pop out. The rest here, I don't recall there being any screws. Yeah, see, there's screws here, but you don't have to take them out. The cup holders, it's all clips. Put that out. Again, if you want to do the way I did it, I was just being cheap and made my own. That's held in with 2 screws on the cup holder console portion. Either way, if you do it this way or use the side drive controller, it's the same thing. You'll have to take that out. So I'm going to button this back up, and then I don't know, it got dark out, so I don't know if I'll go film tonight doing the test drive. I might go test drive it and then do a point of view video in the morning when I'm heading over to work on the car. Again, we're going to do the rear sway bar, and I'm probably breathing super heavy right now because I'm fat, I'm tired, I'm dying. Okay, so that's that. I'll button this up, and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's all hooked back up and actually turning on. And you may slice your hand. Okay, so the DCCD controller is all installed, ready to go. The way you're going to want to test this is, I'm here in a fairly empty parking lot. There's all the stores in this place closed. You're going to want to put this manual mode, and as you can see, crank it all the way up over there to fully locked. Once you're fully locked, I'm going to roll down the window. Hopefully you can hear it. Once you're fully locked, you'll want to turn your wheel all the way in, left or right, whichever way you're turning, and you'll feel it and hear the tires kind of skip. So I'm going to try it right here. Okay, hear that? Hopefully you can hear it, but I can definitely feel it. It's skipping. That means your differential is fully locked and the DCCD controller is functioning as it should. So I'm going to pop it back here into manual, or not manual, sorry, auto. And that's about it. So the install was a pain in the ass, but again, not to Iwire's fault or anything like that. It was me dealing with that wiring issue. I'm terrible at wiring. You're gonna probably hear me say that a million times in this video, and this is a horrible video, so yeah, this ain't my best. So that's that. I'll update later on how it's working, but so far I have no issues other than that grueling install. Again, I suck. Alright, so like, subscribe, all that jazz that I should be saying probably at the beginning of videos. I'm not good at this. Later.